In today's video, we are gonna put in a bare knuckle pickup. I have it right here into this LTD telecaster right here. I bought this at an auction and it had its pickups removed, and so I can't really play the guitar without putting in a pickup. Now, I've had this pickup lying around for a couple of years. I've actually forgotten what guitar I bought it for. That's sort of what happens when you build a lot of guitars. Some slip-ups happens. It could have also been that I made a guitar for someone and they wanted another pickup. I don't really remember. Anyway, the thing is, I'm going to put it into this guitar and I'm going to show you how to do it, do a little bit of talk about setup and things like that with the pickup. And then we're going to play it and hopefully it sounds nice. Hopefully the pickup works. I hope it hasn't been lying around and, gone bad or something like that. And that's not a thing. I'm just kidding. That's a stupid joke. You are cool. I know you understand it, but there are some other people who don't understand that that was a joke. So I know you know it, but I have to say it's a joke because, not everyone is as cool as you are. So I'm going to show you how to put in a pickup. I know some of you are beginners, maybe want to try out modding a guitar and doesn't know how to do it. And so I'm going to show you how to do it. And then I'm going to put strings on it. And I'm going to show you how to set up the height and things like that so that you can get the height that is good for you. Also, as you can see, I don't have a neck pickup. I don't actually have any neck pickup lying around, so I don't have anything to put there. And I don't really know which pickup I should put in. So if you have any suggestions, maybe some pickup you like to use in your Telecasters, give me some suggestions of pickups that are nice. It doesn't have to be a humbucker, it can be anything, because I can always mod the scratch plate or buy a new scratch plate. It can be anything. Yeah, whatever. Talk to me in the comments below and give me some cool suggestions. So, as you hopefully can see, there are a couple of screws holding the bridge in place. So what you need to do is take a screwdriver and just remove the screws. This screw right here can be a little bit fiddly, so move the saddles up like this so that you can get to it a little bit easier. You might have to move the saddles forward a bit so that they become a little bit easier to get under. Now we can lift this off and reveal what's underneath here. Take this and move it to the side. Take your pickup, open the box and remove your pickup. In it you will find the pickup. It looks like this or similar to that depending on what kind of pickup it is. And in the box you will also find either tiny little springs or, like I have here, little rubbers. I prefer the rubbers because it makes everything less fiddly. And then you'll have some screws that comes with the pickup. These screws are made to fit the pickup and so they go together. Take your bridge, put the screws in the holes that are surrounding the big cavity for the pickup. Hold down your screws like this and put on the springs or the rubbers. If it's rubbers, it's gonna just stay in place like this and you won't have to worry about it. If it is a spring, you're gonna have to hold it in place with one hand like this, put your finger over it like that, and then screw down the screw at the same time as you are pushing the pickup up like this and screwing down the screw like this. You don't have to focus too much at this moment on how much you have to screw it down. Just make sure the pickup sits in there and is securely in its place. Now you can take these two wires and you can twist them around each other almost like you're making some sort of braid. Just like I am doing right here. You see how they are coming together. And some pickups, if they're more expensive, like this pickup, they will have wires that are covered in a cloth outside, and that cloth is sort of sturdy. It has a sort of waxy feeling to it because it has actual wax on it, and so it will stay like this. But if you have inexpensive pickups that don't come with a cloth outside but a plastic, it can be a little hard to keep them looking nice like this. But you can always move them like this and put a piece of tape at the end to hold them together. Now we're just going to feed these wire into the hole that moves towards the control cavity. You will have a hole that goes to the neck cavity, but that's where the pickup wires from the neck is going to come through, and all wires are going to go towards where the switch and the control knobs are. So just take your wires and push them in, and once they are fairly far in and the bridge is starting to lie neatly, you can put the bridge down in its place. And sometimes things will fit and sometimes they won't. Everything fits very nice for me right here, because this is a telecaster with a telecaster bridge and this is a telecaster bridge pickup. But if you want to put in something different, you might have to reshape this cavity a little bit. So just be aware of that as you're moving forward. Now we're gonna hold this in place and we're just gonna put the screws back in their place. And we're gonna start off by one in the front like this, and you don't have to tighten it all the way down. Stop at somewhere around 5 millimeters, and then we're gonna take the screw in the back opposite corner and we're gonna screw that screw down and leave it at just a couple of mil as well, something like that. I hope you can see how it's poking up a little bit. Now we're gonna just screw in the rest of the screws, and the reason why we're putting in the screws in this way is because we want to make absolute sure that nothing goes in the wrong way and that the bridge goes back exactly where it's supposed to be. You can accidentally put in things a little bit weird and crooked if you're not being careful. It's not something you have to worry about, but try to be mindful of it so that you don't go to put strings on the guitar and wonder why nothing aligns correctly. And then once all the screws are almost in, we can go back and we can tighten them up. And you should just tighten the screws enough so you feel that it's starting to get a little bit hard to put them in. You don't have to over tighten them and make it like to the point where you almost break the screws. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to just remove the screws holding down the control plate. Obviously things like this is gonna be a little bit different depending on what kind of a guitar you have to deal with. And now we can just lift this up, and from under here are the new pickup wires. And I'm gonna make more videos about different switches, but for now we're gonna focus on this switch. And the way this works is you have two controls in the middle here that are both wired together and put into where the signal goes out on the potentiometer here, and the signal goes out to the jack over here. And the switch works this way. When it's pulled this way, connected over there, and when it's pulled over here, the connection goes like that across over there. And you can see the person who's been in here taking out has labeled a B for bridge and an N for neck, which you don't need to do. This is a very simple switch, and all I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to take this and attach the red wire to the two connections over here. And it's gonna be super simple to do. I'm just gonna have to use a soldering iron, which is what we're gonna have to use. You don't need any fancy thing to do this. You can use a regular soldering iron that you get anywhere, and that is sort of an inexpensive tool. Or you can buy a soldering station if you know you're gonna do more complicated things. And then just melt the wires into place and try to get a nice solid connection like this. I hope you can see it. It's a little bit hard to show you these small things, and you're gonna leave these two pins alone. They're not needed. And the same thing would go on the other side. You would just connect these two wires to the other side. And now we have this black wire. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that a black wire means ground. We're gonna have to attach it to the back of the pot right here. So it will look something like this. When the switch is in the bridge connection, it will be pulled to this side. You'll have two connections here that you melt together with the lead wire, which will be the colored wire. In my case, it's red. And then you will ground the black wire over here. And you will ground all black wires over here. So if you have a neck pickup, which I don't, you would ground it over here as well. And now we can just move this over to the side again like this. And we can put this in and screw the screws back into their places. And now, when the switch is in this place, it should connect this pickup to the volume pot. And in the middle, it would be both. And over here, it would be the neck. Now, obviously, for me, moving it into this position will basically be nothing because I don't have a pickup. So, leave me comments below helping me out, because I do need a pickup at some point. Next step is going to be putting on strings. I'm quickly now just going to put on some strings. I don't feel like I have to show you how to put on strings. But basically, you have either holes on the back here for the strings, or you have holes through the guitar. And that's where you put the strings. Okay, so the next thing you have to do is adjust these saddles here and make sure you have the right string height. You might have to adjust the neck as well, but hopefully you've played this guitar before and all of these things are already the way you want to do it. And you're just adjusting these to make sure everything is perfect. And you should play the guitar to make sure that this is the way you want to do it. But anyway, the string height needs to be the right way. And so you have a little hexagon key and you put it in and you adjust the saddles here. Most guitars adjust like that, but there are some that adjust other ways. For example, a Les Paul has 2 screws on the side that adjust all of the saddles height in one. So now, when this is all done and perfect, we can move on to adjusting the screws and the pickup height. And to show you how to do that, I'm gonna draw on a piece of paper. Okay, so here's a piece of paper. No, actually it's not, but I couldn't film on paper because it was too white. So let's imagine this is your pickup right here, like so. And here's the little pole piece that sticks up in the middle. This is seen from the side, so here is your guitar. And here is your bridge. I hope you can see what I'm doing. And your string comes off like this. And if you have a guitar where the string goes down, for example a Les Paul, the string will sit at the bridge higher and then move down at an angle like this. That's the reason why the neck needs to be routed and plugged in to the body at an angle so that it gets too high at the neck. And sometimes you will have a guitar like, for example, a Strat or a Telecaster like I have, and the neck needs to be shimmed, and that basically means creating this back angle thing on them. Now the reason why that is because the pocket is faultily made. You can definitely make a flat neck pocket without any issues. And maybe I'll make a video about how to make a good pocket at some point. Anyway, the pickup should, in most cases, depending on what you want, be angled the same way as the string. So if you have a flat string, or, you know, pulled like this, like on a Telecaster or a Strat, usually, unless they've been shimmed, the pickup should be flat like this. Meaning equal on both sides here. But if the string is a little bit angled like this, the pickup should be angled too, like this. So this side of the pickup and this side of the pickup are equal distance to the string. That would give you the most even translation of the string, because you have a magnetic field going like this. And this is going to get messy because I'm drawing a lot. And you want that pulling equally and translating the signal equally. So if the string is angled, you should angle the pickup. But that's not always true. For example, this is a bridge pickup, so it sits very closely to the bridge. This is the pickup again, and here is the bridge. It's very close. And you can actually, depending on what you want, trick the string. So if this is the string and it's completely straight and the pickup is straight, you could angle the pickup away like this, for example. So it's pointing away from the bridge, which I hope you can see my crappy drawings. But here's the bridge. And so it's pointing away from the bridge. And that could help you soften up the sound and help you make the bridginess easier. Sort of like the reason why a Stratocaster pickup at the bridge is angled, because you want to move it away from the bridge. Now, if you want to do that on something like a Telecaster, It's very easy, and you'll see me do it because I'm gonna attempt it a little bit. You have basically the pickup like this, and you have screws on either side like this, which means you can adjust how the pickup sits in regard to just the pulling of away from the bridge, like I am trying to show here. The next thing you can think about is also if you see the pickup from the next point of view. You have the pickup like this basically, and you have strings coming over it like this, and you have the pull pieces here. You can angle the pickup so that it's softer on the bass side or harder on the treble side, because the closer the pickup is to the string, the harsher it's gonna sound, then more of the sound is gonna get in, making it more punchy, you might say. So if you have a pickup and you think it's perfectly well, but you wish it was a little bit more punchy, you can adjust it and see if that helps. Sometimes it doesn't because you need more wounds on the pickup, but you can try that first before switching it out and just raising the pickup closer to the string. The string should never touch the pickup because you might get a weird popping sound, which is actually a sort of basically a short happening. It is not dangerous or bad or anything like that. You're not going to destroy your pickups by doing it. And it's just a nasty sound. And you have to think about the fact that a string, it's not always lying still. It's vibrating and moving. So it's basically like how much is the string moving. You have to think about that, because that's the moving thickness, you might say, of the string. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, leave comments below and I'll talk to you there. So what you have to do is this. Take your guitar and adjust the pickup. Look at the string height from the side like this and adjust it so that it's equal on both sides, if that's what you want. And I would say that that's what most guitarists want. So just adjust it and then think about the height. I like the punch to be from my hand and how hard I hit it, so I usually try to keep the pickup somewhere around a mil or two from the actual bass. Now these screws won't really allow me to lower it much more than this, so I'm pretty happy. And now to adjust, because I don't want my pickup to be too sharp, I'm gonna lower it on this side. So I'm adjusting this side to be a little bit lower than this, not much at all, maybe half a mil or something. And I'm also gonna lower the front a little bit, and it's just to taste basically. So if you look real closely at my pickup, you can see, hopefully, the switch is in the way. You can hopefully see that the pickup is a little bit angled away from the bridge, and maybe you can also see that it's a little bit lower. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little bit lower on the treb side. And the reason why is just because I kind of don't really want the higher strings to be picked up as much, just even it out a little bit more. So here's the guitar, and I'm just gonna go and play it right now real quickly before I demo it for you, and I'm just gonna adjust it according to what I hear, because it also depends on what kind of pickup it is and how it sounds and how it's made, because some pickups are really hot, and so you might want to pull them down a lot to even them out. And some pickups, they are actually, not hot at all. They're really mellow. They might be really weak. They might be like old vintage guitar pickups where the magnetization has been lost over the years, and you might have to raise them a lot. And so the final thing to do is adjusting all the angles of the pickup and how it sits according to what you're hearing and what you're liking. So I had to adjust the pickup a little bit more because I played it and I felt like I needed to be a little bit closer. So keep that in mind, that when you're doing this, always play the guitar through an amp and check it out. You might need to raise it a little bit. You could also experiment. You don't have to take anything that serious. You can measure the height the pickup is at, and then you can lower it or raise it and push it forward, see what happens. I quickly want to mention a thing that you can do if you want to just a single string, because maybe you feel like, I don't know, let's say the B string is a bit too quiet and you want to raise just that one. If you have a pickup that doesn't have a bar magnet on the back side, you can raise the actual bobbin by warming it up with a soldering iron for a couple of seconds and then pushing it. You just need to melt the wax enough so that you can push it. Usually that will work, and you don't need to push it far at all. You can push one of these poles just a mil maybe, and usually that will solve that. If you look at old vintage Strat pickups, they are usually different heights on the bobbins, and so you can do that to any pickups. If they don't have a bar magnet. If they have a bar magnet, you might have to actually pull the whole entire bobbin out and replace it with a longer one. And if you have a humbucker, they usually have two sets of...
It was at this moment
two rows.
He
and
fucked up.
one is usually screws, and you can usually screw them and adjust them to change the sound of the pickup. And you can actually basically mod your guitar that way to make it in almost like an EQ in the actual pickup. It's something that can really change the sound, and I suggest before you change out the pickup, maybe you try that out. But that's if you have a humbucker. Anyway, I'm not going to do any of those things to this pickup because now I'm pretty satisfied with how this guitar sounds. So we're just going to go and plug it in and play it and see what happens. And hopefully you're going to like the sound. I think it sounds pretty good. It's not going to be as well sounding for you guys as it is for me because I'm in the room listening to it, and I'm not going to spend a bunch of time recording this. This isn't a demo of the guitar or of the pickup. I'm just going to show you that it works basically, and you know, it's fun. And I'm not going to try to convince you that you need to have bare knuckle pickups or something strange like that. If you have any suggestions for what pickup I should put in the neck, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, let's go play this, and you need to stay awesome and cool and go and change a pickup on one of your guitars, because you most likely have one guitar that has a pickup that needs changing, so do that. It's a lot of fun, and you're gonna have fun with the guitar afterwards when it sounds much better.